During Friday's game against the Boston Celtics, Jalen Brunson went down with an ankle injury during the final seconds of that game. And unfortunately, the injury looked significant. Well, thankfully, we have an update on his status for tomorrow's game and moving forward. Not only that, we also have an update on Mitchell Robinson, who also went down during that game, but apparently was fine. But now, according to reports, he's undergoing additional testing. We're going to break down all of this and so much more today. So be sure you're subscribed to the channel and have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. We have an update on Jalen Brunson and his ankle injury. If you were watching the Boston Celtics game like I was with the Knicks on Friday night, one of the questions that came to mind was, why is Jalen Brunson out on the floor with 20 seconds left to go with the Knicks down 12, game out of reach? It didn't make sense. And then a freak accident happened where Jalen Brunson rolled his ankle by stepping on the foot of Celtics guard Peyton Pritchard. I think collectively, the Knicks universe had a gasp, wondering if Jalen Brunson was going to miss significant time, if he was going to wear a cast, how many weeks he could potentially be out for, and if he was out, what that could mean for the New York Knicks and their future for this season. Well, thankfully, we have an update for Jalen Brunson thanks to Steph Bondy and Fred Katz from The Athletic. According to Steph Bondy, Brunson had a stride at the Villanova game last night, and it looked like the Knicks dodged anything serious by how Jalen Brunson was moving last night. Per Steph Bondy, less than 24 hours after he hobbled off the Celtics court with an ankle injury, Jalen Brunson was walking without a limp while being celebrated by his alma mater last night. But then, after that, recently, just now, we get this great, amazing update from Fred Katz. Per Fred Katz, Jalen Brunson is good with the ankle, Tom Thibodeau says. He is good to go for tomorrow's game against the Toronto Raptors. Shout out to Fred Katz and Steph Bondy for giving us this very important and crucial update on Jalen Brunson. It is extremely good to hear that the Knicks and Jalen dodged significant injury because when it happened, he looked like he couldn't put any weight on the ankle at all. It looked significant. It looked like a high ankle injury sprain. And if that was the case, at minimum, we would be looking at 3 to 6 weeks that he would be missing. But thankfully, he seemed like he avoided all of that. He's good to go, he's ready to go, and he's going to be available for tomorrow's game against the Toronto Raptors. And absolutely, guys, we are going to need him and so much more. Toronto is definitely not a team that you can go in and think you can beat them just by closing your eyes or not giving a lot of effort or not locking in. If you fail to give effort or lock in against the Toronto Raptors, they're going to make you feel it. Scotty Barnes is probably a lock for most improved player this year, this season. He is playing some phenomenal basketball on both sides of the floor. OG Anunoby playing good sides of basketball on both sides of the floor. And then you obviously got Pascal Siakam, who's definitely still doing what he needs to do for this Toronto Raptors team. Toronto has a lot of question marks headed into this offseason regarding what they're going to do with the talent that they have. Are they going to let them walk for nothing? Are they going to trade them mid-season? Are they going to re-sign them again and make sure they're on this roster for next season to see what they could potentially do again next year? All of these questions are up to Masai Ujiri and Toronto to answer. But honestly, for the New York Knicks at this particular point in time, if you're just looking at the landscape of things, the Knicks cannot be down players when they're going in against any team in this NBA. It doesn't matter if it's a good team, a bad team, or a top team in the league. The Knicks need to be healthy in order for them to compete with any team on any given night. If they're not healthy, I question how far this Knicks team can get. You miss Jalen Brunson for about 5 to 7 games, God forbid, then guess what? You're likely going to lose maybe, 4 or 5 out of those games? That's how impactful Jalen Brunson is. And not only that, because nobody's going to say it about him. Jalen Brunson is one of the toughest guards in the entire league. And not only that, what I mean by tough is he'll put his body on the line each and every night in order for his team to get that extra possession, for his team to be better. He's a point guard leading the league in charges, taking charges from anybody. It doesn't matter if they're bigger than him. If they're his size, it does not matter. Jalen Brunson's going to put his body on the line to make sure his team gets another possession, gets another play, and hopefully can solidify a win. That's the type of point guard that New York needs. That passionate, that tough, that rugged point guard. Jalen Brunson checks those boxes and so much more. He's absolutely what New York needed. He is the leader that New York needed. I'm so happy to hear that he avoided significant injury. He's going to be available for the Knicks tomorrow night against the Toronto Raptors. We're going to need him and everything he can give the Knicks because Toronto is going to come locked in and focused. They remember what the Knicks did to them last time. And coming into this game, they're going to come to seek revenge. Jalen Brunson is the way we stop that revenge. So hopefully he's going to be on point and ready to go. And it looks like, according to these reports, he will be. Mitchell Robinson apparently needs additional testing. In that same game against the Boston Celtics, we saw Mitchell Robinson favoring his foot going into halftime. He didn't start the third quarter for the Knicks, and the only reason Tom Thibodeau elected to play him in the third was because Isaiah Hartenstein got into foul trouble. When we got into the fourth quarter, Mitchell Robinson didn't play another second of Knicks basketball. And Mitchell Robinson, regardless of what anybody wants to say about what he does on the offensive side of the ball, defensively, he is the defensive anchor for the Knicks, and he is one of the most important pieces for this Knicks team. He helps and covers a lot for a lot of these players on defense. If the Knicks are missing Mitch, they are going to have a very, very difficult time each and every night moving forward. Mitchell Robinson is undergoing additional testing on his ankle. His status moving forward is uncertain until results come back. Tom Thibodeau on if this could be a long-term injury for Robinson. I don't know. He's being examined by the medical people. So until we get the report, it's just speculation. Shout out to Fred Katz from The Athletic for giving us this update, because now we know it wasn't his foot, it's his ankle that he was favoring. And that's an issue. We do not need Mitchell Robinson to miss games, miss time with any type of ankle injury. Right now, all we can say is he looked fine. He played that third quarter even though he had the injury. I don't know why he even did that or why Tom Thibodeau even did that, but apparently the x-rays were negative at that point in time. But maybe they weren't looking at the right location. Now that they know it's an ankle injury more than it was a foot injury, maybe they're going to look at these particular x-rays and maybe that's going to show an issue. Hopefully it won't, because we cannot afford to miss Mitchell Robinson. He is doing everything for this Knicks team, as I stated before. And if the Knicks lose him, I don't know how many games the Knicks can win without Mitchell Robinson at the defensive helm at center. It is so important and impactful what Mitchell Robinson does for this Knicks team, what he means for this Knicks team. I'll repeat it again. The Knicks cannot miss Mitchell Robinson any games this season, because if they do, whether they win or lose that game is always going to be up in the air. That's how important Mitch is. Right now, he's getting additional testing on that ankle. We're going to know more, obviously, as the days go by. Hopefully, I am praying that Mitchell Robinson does well, comes out of this, and has no long-term or ill-term effects, because we need him moving forward if the Knicks are looking to compete in the East. Hopefully, he does not miss any time. We'll keep you updated here on this channel as more updates come out, not only about Jalen Brunson and Mitchell Robinson, but other Knicks players as well too. So definitely keep it locked here. But what do you guys think about these updates, not only about Jalen Brunson, but also about Mitchell Robinson? Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.